Welcome back to Sim Sunday and welcome back to our Bucket Spade series, where the real Airbus pilot and I are trying to recreate popular flights to holiday destinations in prepared 3D and XPlane. And in today's episode, we're back in XPlane in the capable hands of the real Airbus pilot. And we're starting today's flight in Boryspil International Airport, the main airport of Kyiv in Ukraine. And as you can see, we're in the gorgeous Zibo 737-900 of Ukraine International Airways, preparing for a relatively short flight to Turkey's Mediterranean coast and of course Dalaman. And at the time it took the real Airbus pilot to prepare this 737-900 for the short flight to Dalaman, he was looking at Flight Global and noticed there was an inbound aircraft. And as I moved to this outside view, you can see an Airbus A320 of Wizz Air arriving from Budapest in Hungary, proving the accuracy of global traffic for XPlane11. And back in the cockpit, the real Airbus pilot is checking off the route on the FMC, which of course you would do in real life before any flight. But of course, if you were in the cockpit of a real 737-900 or any commercial aircraft for that matter, the captain and the first officer would be checking this route together to make sure it was absolutely 100% accurate.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
As you can see, since his last flight, the real Airbus pilot has purchased a pushback add-on for XPlane. I guess similar to what I use in GSX Level 2 in prepared 3D. However, just like the Zibo 737 itself, this add-on for XPlane is free, unlike GSX in prepared.
Operation complete, set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Ukraine International 488, runway 18 left. Taxi via Charlie 6, Bravo, Alpha 1. Hold short of runway 18 left.
As the real Airbus pilot prepares to taxi the Zibo 737-900 to the runway, I should state now that all of the scenery that you're seeing here is stock scenery within XPlane11. I know that I've said this in many of the real Airbus pilots' videos in XPlane11. As a tubeliner pilot in prepared 3D version 4.5, I'm just blown away by the quality of the out-of-the-box scenery in XPlane11.
Cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
As the real Airbus pilot gets this Ukraine International 737 into the sky, he's already pointing in a southerly direction towards the Black Sea, and as the aircraft accelerates, he'll engage the autopilot along with it, LNAV and VNAV, directing the Boeing 737 to take its commands from the FMC, the flight management computer.
Ukraine International 488, flight heading 2.
As you can see in this episode, we're going to skip the boring cruise phase of this flight and get straight to the landing in Dalaman, Turkey. And below the cloud level, it is quite a murky day here in Turkey. And as you can see, with terrain on either side of the aircraft on approach to Dalaman, the real Airbus pilot will have configured this Boeing 737 well in advance of final approach, which at Dalaman is offset due to the high terrain on either side of the approach, which basically means at the appropriate time the pilots will disconnect the autopilot and land the aircraft manually. And as the aircraft reduces to a reasonable speed, it is time for the real Airbus pilot to cancel the reversers, using the brakes, which in this aircraft I believe are carbon brakes, slowing down the 737-900 enough to leave the runway. And it is at this time I should welcome you to Dalaman in Turkey. And during that perfect touchdown at the hands of a professional pilot, I couldn't help notice the awesome quality of the scenery here at Dalaman, which again is stock to XPlane11 and streets ahead than what you would get in FSX or Prepared. And as we taxied to the gate, the real Airbus pilot was commenting in his notes how quiet Dalaman Airport was today, and therefore it was scary to think how accurate global traffic was during April 2021 when this flight was recorded, during the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, which has devastated the travel industry during 2020 and 2021. Because during the European spring and summer, you would expect Dalaman Airport to be absolutely jam-packed full of aircraft, bringing holidaymakers to this popular Mediterranean bucket and spade destination. Anyway, as we pull up to the gate here in Dalaman, it's time to bring another episode of Sim Sunday to a close. And I hope you've enjoyed another flight from the real world in the virtual world, this time of course in XPlane11. So until the next episode, wherever you fly in your virtual world, don't forget to fly safe.